Howdy, folks. The Film Ranger here. Back here with another DC update. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, do we have updates for you. This is about Wonder Woman, and this is about Zack Snyder. So, first, we're going to talk about Zack Snyder. So, according to Zack Snyder Film and Updates, Zack Snyder revealed Justice League 2 involved Darkseid telling the female Furies to invade Themyscira and fight the Amazons. So, that sounds kind of cool. That sounds very epic right there. Um, I just want to show you the pictures. These are the female Furies. And the Amazons and Darkseid, of course. Wouldn't that have been another epic, amazing thing if Zack actually had a epic female battle between the Amazons and the female Furies? That would have been just, why couldn't we have gotten that? Next thing I wanted to show you was this. So this person says, it's always funny to me that supporters conveniently forget how much money Zack lost for WB. Big hit with 300, then they handed him DC and he didn't lose much money there or build a big winner. But three or four losers in between. Bro poor. Greg Silverman, he is or was part of Warner Brothers. I forgot in what involvement he was in Warner Brothers, but he's an official. Let's see if it says what he is. He is. It doesn't say. I know he was in some sort of position of Warner Brothers Pictures, and he says not true. We lost some money on Gahul, on Guardians of Gahul, the Owl movie, and a fair amount on Sucker Punch. The rest of his films at WB were very profitable, and he reiterated very, very profitable. That means that the DC movies were very profitable. That means Man of Steel. Remember, Man of Steel made over 700 million. Batman v Superman didn't hit $1 billion, like everyone is complaining about nowadays, but it did make over $800 million. Zack's movies were, and to an extent, the Snyderverse were very profitable. And I do believe I have that same. Okay, here we go. Here it is. This is what Our Movie News says. Greg Silverman was the president, creative development, and worldwide production of Warner Brothers from 2013 to 2016. Excuse me. This is what he had to say about Zack Snyder at WB and DC. He has disproved the claim that Snyder's DC films flopped and has defended Snyder against the critics. So now I'm going to read this to you. This person says, if someone other than Zack Snyder had directed Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, the movies being exactly the same, these movies would have been critically acclaimed. And Greg says, I couldn't agree more. My suspicion always was that Zack's kindness, openness, and enthusiasm created an environment for critics to undervalue his work. Because he is a decent, approachable, humble human, he didn't fit the mold of the auteur. Should be the opposite. And that's true. Zack is a very decent human being. He's so humble. I mean, he has these crazy ideas, and we know about Zack, you know? He has all these crazy ideas, and he has these big, epic things, but he's also like a kid at heart, and he's so humble and kind and nice. The evidence of that is my next post right here, where Zack Snyder himself, and this received 15.9 million impressions on this tweet. This is the most marketing that this movie has received so far. Zack Snyder himself said, looking forward to taking my kids to see Blue Beetle. Hashtag representation matters. Hashtag Blue Beetle. That's a pretty cool poster right there, actually, not gonna lie. It received 15.9 million impressions. Isn't that something? I feel that this is done on purpose. Now, hear me out. Personally, I feel that there's something going on behind the scenes where Zack Snyder might be in contact with Warner Brothers with Abdi and DeLuca. It's possible. He might be ready to do talk on restoring the Snyderverse, and this is probably a show of good faith because I don't think Zack's just going to randomly just talk about Blue Beetle. You know, he didn't really randomly talk about the Flash or Shazam 2, so we haven't heard anything about Aquaman yet. But for him to actually promote Blue Beetle and receive this generation, I am truly wondering if someone at Warner Brothers is in contact with Zack and was like, "Please, Zack, can you do this for us?" And we'll do something for you. You scratch our back, we scratch your back. And Zach's a humble guy. You're like, sure, why not? I don't mind. He probably does want to genuinely see it. He loves comic books. He loves comics. He probably wants to see it. And you know what? Maybe I'll watch it. I'm still probably gonna only watch it on Max though. I'm not really interested in spending money in the theaters to watch that. But if Zach says it's all right, then I say it's all right too. Now the next thing I want to talk about is the next thing I want to talk about is this. This is the big news of this video. Breaking news. Gal Gadot says she's developing Wonder Woman 3 with James Gunn and Peter Safran via comic book. Wonder Woman actress Gal Gadot has claimed a third film is on the way under James Gunn and Peter Safran's new DCU leadership. I'm going to try to see if I can open this on a new tab and just read part of this article. Gal Gadot claims Wonder Woman 3 is coming under Gunn and Safran's DCU leadership. Speaking to comicbook.com before the strike began, Gadot said that she was told by DC Studios co-CEOs Gunn and Safran that the three would make a new Wonder Woman film together. I love portraying Wonder Woman, Gadot said. It's so close and dear to my heart. From what I heard from James and from Peter, is that we're going to develop a Wonder Woman 3 together. That is huge. That is huge. I was going to leave that up there for a minute because I'm going to talk about this for a few seconds. Okay, so remember back in maybe 2000, let's say 2019, 2020, when we were getting a lot of rumors and scoops about the Hamada verse, and we're calling the Hamada burger, etc., etc. Well, one of the things that Hamada reportedly wanted to do was to keep people like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, keep Jason Momoa as Aquaman, keep what's the guy's name? What's that guy's name? Ezra Miller as the Flash. Keep everybody except for Ray Fisher, who was already out, but keep everybody except for Ben Affleck as Batman and Henry Cavill as Superman. Do you remember that? Do you remember they wanted to recast Batman, wanted to recast Superman? The rumor at the time was that they're going to have either Michael B. Jordan's Black Superman or Ta-Nehisi Coates' version of Black Superman, or just cast someone entirely new. And perhaps the Batman will probably be Robert Pattinson in the DCEU. Remember all those rumors? Everybody was saying that? Well, I guess the plan is still the same. After all this time, after a brand new CEO, after all these supposed changes and movies have come out and everything, the plan is still the same to get rid of Henry Cavill and get rid of Ben Affleck. So, if Gal Gadot stays and she plays Wonder Woman in Wonder Woman 3, then Wonder Woman stays in the new DCU. There is no reboot. It's not a reboot because you're just changing two actors. We already have a confirmed new Superman in that guy Corrin Sweat, David Corrin Sweat. We had Henry Cavill. We already had the guy. We had the Superman, and now you're recasting him. Aquaman is probably going to stay. Jason Momoa is probably going to stay. Ezra Miller is probably going to stay. Maybe won't be like the main fuss, but he's probably going to stay in some sort of capacity. Now we know Wonder Woman's going to stay. This is how James Gunn operates. Apparently, this is what they do. They are going to get rid of fan favorites Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. Why? I don't know. Is it true that James Gunn truly dislikes Henry Cavill. And Ben Affleck, he wanted nothing to do with it. He said, I want nothing to do with your new DCU. We're part of Zack's universe. I support what Zack does. You're changing it. I'm out. Massive respect to Ben, and he saw what he did to what Gunn did to Henry Cavill. He said, nope, not supporting that. Gal Gadot, she loves Wonder Woman. That's her favorite character. I can't blame her. She loves Wonder Woman. It's like that's her. She looks like Wonder Woman, right? That last movie, 84, wasn't very good, but you know, maybe she wants to redeem herself. And they're also developing that prequel series, Paradise Lost. It's just a shame because I would be happy. Normally, I would be really, really happy for a Wonder Woman 3 with Gal Gadot, and I love Gal Gadot. She's beautiful, and she plays the role excellent. But why do they have to get rid of Ben Affleck? He was just in The Flash. Why do they have to get rid of Henry Cavill, the Superman? Why? I'm just really not understanding why they're doing it. So this is what this fellow says, Jaden. He says, "Don't worry, it's a completely new DCU. We're only keeping Gal Gadot, John Cena, Viola Davis, Jason Momoa, maybe Margot Robbie, and potentially the whole Suicide Squad. Oh, and also Solo is staying as Blue Beetle. His movie just ain't canon, but it's all a very simple, fresh start. Yup. Yup. That's exactly what it is. It's all canon until it's not canon. It's all not canon until it is canon. That's the very simple plan for the new DCU. I have zero interest in Zack's characters reprising roles in the new DCU without the entire cast. Either do a full reboot or bring the entire league back, James Gunn. This is sad and pathetic. Just Cavill and Affleck had to go. This is, and we're gonna add Ray Fisher. This is outstanding. Outstanding. They are so bad at this. Staying, gone, probably staying, gone. What madness is this? This is so funny. Bro has zero clue what a reboot means. So basically, IDK WTF, what I'm doing, lol. This is so funny. He has no idea what he's doing, or he knows what he's doing, just wants to be spiteful and get rid of a leading man, a masculine man like Henry Cavill. James Gunn. I cut Affleck out of Aquaman 2 because I didn't want to set up a dead universe. Also, James Gunn. Gal Gadot says Wonder Woman 3 is still in development from DC Studios. Do you see the hypocrisy there? Do you see the hypocrisy? You just don't like Ben Affleck and you just don't like Henry Cavill. That's what it is. The universe is continuing, just with different characters. I mean, let's talk about Superman Legacy. Let's talk about Superman Legacy for a minute. Superman Legacy should have had Henry Cavill. It is his legacy. With other superheroes coming up, new members of the League who had that connection in the desert, it could have been a sequel to Black Adam. It was perfectly set. In fact, I've read that it was already in development, and yet there is no Man of Steel 2, no Henry Cavill. Remember, I read the other day that Sasha Calle and Henry Cavill are going to be Man of Steel 2 with Brainiac. Remember all those plans? All those plans are being made? But no, because of this guy's ego, because of his ego, we couldn't have the continuation of the Snyderverse. And that's why, and I don't see it right in a second, but it said a few minutes ago, it said hashtag restore the Snyderverse. This is the last thing I wanted to read. This is from Our Movie News. He says, I can almost 100% guarantee that if Ezra Miller didn't have the drama connected to him, he would still be in the DCU. And if Ray Fisher didn't have issues with the studio, he would still be there too. This 100% looks like Gunn didn't want Affleck or Cavill. This is so true. I agree 100%. 100%. If Miller wasn't having all those very public issues, James Gunn would have kept him. We all know how James Gunn is. He would have kept him. And if Ray Fisher didn't have those problems with Jeff Johns and all those allegations of racism, Ray Fisher would have stayed too. And the only people they would have got rid of was Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill. And that's the DCU for you. And that's why we want to hashtag restore the Snyder verse. So I'm going to be back to see what craziness happens next week. I'm sorry, tomorrow. And every day, there's always something different. It's always something new with DC. It's a roller coaster. And I hope that everybody is here and will always tune in for my DC roundups. So stay safe, everyone. Take care. Signing off.